Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Garrett and Steve with Executive Firearms, and we're here today to talk about our Matrix workout target. This is something that we've come up with recently that we think you guys will enjoy a great deal. It's going to be available on our website to print out and bring to your next range day. We're going to go over some of the key principles behind this target and kind of what went into the development of it, or why we think it's such a good idea. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is actually the randomization of this target. It's very, very unique in that down here, the reason it's called a matrix workout is because you have a matrix of random numbers that you can select a new drill pretty much every single time you do it. So that's where the term matrix comes from. We notice a lot of these targets, it lacks ability to randomize or do something different. People start to game them, especially like some of the cold start targets and things along those lines. People are really getting into gaming them and they get used to it. It doesn't keep them off balance. It's never, it's always the same drill over and over again. So that's why we wanted this one to be able to kind of set a standard, go out and test yourself on it, and then go through it.
The next point of discussion for the workout matrix target is that there's no time standard. We are not dictating to you as the shooter a time in which you need to complete this drill. This is for you to take to the range, post up, pick out how you're going to run it, and get a baseline for yourself. You can use your times that you run it to gauge and track performance, where you've cleaned up movement, where do you need to slow down, where can you speed up. So we don't want people shooting for other people. Generally we see things on Instagram, we try to emulate that, or we misuse, say, like a cold start target. That's not what this is for. This is for you to shoot for you and track your progression.
So now that we've gone over the why for the matrix workout, let's actually go over how to set it up and what all the information means. So the bottom left-hand corner, you're gonna have your actual matrix, and it's got a list of randomized numbers. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna pick out a total of 4 of these numbers, and you wanna cross the line. You can either do a straight line down through like this, you can come down here, you could pick 5, 7, 2, 3, whatever. We're gonna select a loadout for Garrett. It's gonna be 7, 5, 6, 3. He crosses the line. Crossing the line will indicate where he's going to perform a slide lock reload. The first magazine that he loads will be loaded with 7 and 5, which is 12 rounds. The second magazine he loads will be loaded with 9 rounds, 6 and 3. At whatever distance he shoots this target, he has to be mindful of the distance to the target, but then also the size of these boxes, so that he'll need to build grip as he comes up. He's going to need to find that acceptable sight picture for whatever box he's shooting. He's going to have to manipulate a slide lock reload, rebuild his grip, refine that acceptable sight picture, and finish the drill with these last 2 boxes, again performing a transition. So Garrett, what we're going to have you do is load 12 rounds in one mag, 9 rounds in your second mag, and we're going to shoot this from the, we'll say, the 3-yard line.
Perfect. All right, guys, so just a little bit of feedback from me as I'm shooting this drill. This is again why we like this drill so much, or why this target is so helpful, is because it allows to pull your mind in different directions. So initially when I came out, as I'm shooting this one, I'm going at a pace where it's tough for me personally as a shooter to count exactly how many rounds. So as I was shooting this target, I kind of was like, that was set. It might have been 6 or 7. I'm pretty sure it was 7, but I kind of just went for it and I continued to transition. Now I pulled around low here, and I had a little bit of stutter and cadence, if I remember correctly. And it's again because my mind was still kind of over here. So this target really helps, and it's intentional to have your mind kind of be pulled in different directions, focusing on minute details such as counting, you know, okay, did I transition right? Should I get off this target? What am I doing? There's a bunch of fine, minute little things that you're focusing on. And then you kind of transition back to that broad focus of, you know, sights, acceptable sight picture, press, what I'm doing, how I'm shooting, the size of the target, all of that stuff. And then on top of that, then you get a slide lock reload. So really, by the time I went to slide lock, wasn't even thinking about slide lock reload. It just was, oh, okay, it's a based off feel. And then again, transitioning up here, I pulled too high, so not absolutely perfect. The cadence on this, I could have slowed down just a hair, seen my sights a little bit better, and probably been a little bit more efficient there. And this one, not too bad. I had one come real close to coming out, but not too upset with that.
It helps the shooter going through this identify which of their fundamentals, you know, which things are automated and which things are still taking up bandwidth. So that's one of the things that we really like about running through this target is it helps identify that stuff.
So another thing I want to mention is actually, as you're going through this, we find sometimes that maybe shooting 5 rounds or 4 rounds or 2 rounds is something that your brain can kind of process. everyone can kind of press out, shoot 2 rounds without having to think about it or count. But for me personally, when I get up into those higher round counts, like 7 or 8 or 9, I have to really be thinking about what I'm doing, counting in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, stuff like that. So it's actually a little bit different. It goes back into the not being able to game it and maybe pulling some things out of you that you never really saw. So it can be frustrating, but that's the intended purpose. And you're not gonna run it perfect every single time, but if you're learning from what you're doing and the mistakes you make, well, then you're just aiding your progress.
If you think this is something that'll help you in your training process, go ahead and hit our website up, and you can download it for free from the website.